Guys, if you are alive right now, you know that on June 12th, Steven Spielberg is dropping Disclosure Day. The entire world is being prepped for the ultimate alien blockbuster. But let me ask you a question real quick. Who do you really think actually funded it? Conspiracy circles have known for decades that the Pentagon finances major Hollywood war and espionage films to gauge public reaction and condition your mind. But what if I told you that the massive paradigm shifting UFO file drop we all just witnessed on May 8th wasn't actual disclosure? What if the files are a marketing campaign for a script that was written thousands of years ago? Today we are locking the doors because when you look at the secret code hidden in the dates, a pattern of missing scientists and $1 trillion geopolitical gridlock, you realize we aren't being prepared for an alien invasion. We are being blinded to something far more dangerous. Stick with me because by the end of this video, you will never look at the news the same way again. I can promise you that. So let's start with the math because the math doesn't lie. The Pentagon dropped those unclassified UFO files on May 8th, 2026. Spielberg's movie drops on June 12th. Now, if you count the days between May 8th and June 12th, it's exactly 35 days. In gematria, which is the study of using numerology to decode world events, numbers carry frequency. So do you know what word equals exactly 35? Abduction. Do you know what government agency acronym equals exactly 35? AARO, the All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, the exact branch of the government responsible for reviewing, redacting, and withholding these exact UFO documents. Now, is it a coincidence that the agency controlling the narrative matches the countdown to the movie perfectly? Or is the RO using its power to withhold specific abduction files to perfectly stage manage a fake narrative? But it gets darker. If you pull off a distraction this massive, you need a smokescreen. You need the public looking left while something vital is being taken away on the right. Over the last few months, high-level researchers have been vanishing or dying under bizarre circumstances. Every single time it happens, the media ensures you are looking at a completely different headline. Now let's look at the timeline. So on June 22nd, Monaco Jacinto Reza, a brilliant NASA JPL metallurgist and the co-inventor of Mondaloy, the highly classified alloy designed to replace Russian rocket engines, vanishes without a trace during a routine hike. Where was the media? Completely saturated with the Titan submersible anniversary and the Gaza ceasefire gridlock. Now on February 16th of 2026, Carl Grillmeyer, a Caltech astrophysicist who literally mapped the ancient galactic collisions and found water on exoplanets, is shot and unalived on his front porch. The world didn't notice because all eyes were locked on the closing ceremonies of the Winter Olympics and NASA's frantic post-Artemis II preparations. On February 27th, 2026, Neil McCasland, a retired Air Force Major General, commander of the Air Force Research Lab, and the key holder to the military's most advanced directed energy weapons, leaves his glasses and phone behind and walks into the New Mexico desert, never to be seen again. The exact same week he disappears, the first official trailer for Disclosure Day hits the internet. These are not coincidences, but let's continue so we can continue to put these pieces together. On April 20th, 2026, 420, the big hitter, David Wilcock, a legendary figure in the UFO disclosure movement, dies from a reported self-inflicted wound. The media burned it completely under the chaotic coverage of the congressional UAP hearings and the triumphant return of the Artemis II astronauts. So why are people who understand advanced propulsion, cosmic mapping, and deep state secrecy disappearing the exact same weeks the government is feeding us space news? Well, the answer dropped on May 8th. The exact same day as the UFO files. So while you were scrolling through blurry videos of UAPs and AI generated nonsense, The president of the United States met with Taiwanese officials and locked in a massive $24.8 billion weapons contract. I'm not making this up. I will put the link below if you want to see it. Think about this critically, though. The United States military industrial base is already completely backlogged and gridlocked trying to supply manpower and hardware to Ukraine and Israel. We physically do not have the manufacturing capacity to fulfill this contract. Yet, we just signed an agreement that legally binds us to back Taiwan in a major conflict. This is a legislative foundation for World War III. They needed a global distraction so the public wouldn't realize we just signed a multi-billion-dollar check we can't cash, prepping us for a real kinetic war while simultaneously conditioning us to believe a fake alien invasion is the real threat. Now, this is important because I said it in my last video, aliens are real. I truly believe that, but not this way. This is not what it looks like. They're showing us a sleight of hand. They're not showing us the real deal, okay? Which brings us to Spielberg's Disclosure Day. It's a beautifully orchestrated cycle. The trailer predicts the file drop promotes the movie. But Hollywood always leaves clues for those who know to look. Let's decode the hidden symbolism right now. So first, look at Emily Blunt's character, Margaret Fairchild. In the trailer, she's a normal weather reporter who suddenly glazes over and begins speaking an unknown rhythmic language. This isn't random alien gibberish. This is a direct nod to the pre-Babel Sumerian cuneiform source language. Now, if you've watched my past videos, you know what I'm talking about. In ancient Sumerian texts, the Anunnaki gods possessed a universal language capable of direct consciousness manipulation. The movie is telling you something is waking up a dormant code buried inside human DNA. Now, next, if you look at Colin Firth's character, the deep state operator Noah Scanlon, he moves his hand in a dark room, and across the world, another human being's body moves completely against their will. Their trailer explicitly notes his team has kept the secret for 79 years, dating back perfectly to 1947 and the Roswell era. But that's not all it showed in that moment. If you watch the trailer, it shows him in the room, but also not in the room at the same time. If you know what this is, then you know that it is remote viewing. Remote viewing is a big thing. I've seen reports on it on government files, so go check that out. Now, in ancient Sumerian tablets, the gods ruled them using the Me, spelled M-E, so it's very confusing. Literal physical objects and technologies that gave them absolute psionic control over human biology and behavior. The Pentagon's 79-year cover-up isn't about crash flying saucers. It's about the weaponization of ancient Sumerian technology recovered from the desert. When Josh O'Connor's character is asked if the classified files show people, and he looks at the camera and says no, he isn't talking about Martians. He's talking about the genetic templates of the Nephilim. And that final iconic Spielberg shot, the little girl entranced by the blinding light coming from the house. In ancient texts, this cosmic terrifying radiance emitted by ancient tech and deities was called the Malamu, a force so pure it completely overwhelmed human senses. They want you looking up at the sky on June 12th. They want you arguing over whether the footage from the May 8th file drop is real or fake. Because as long as you are looking up, you aren't looking down into the ancient texts. You aren't looking at the real world logistics of global conflict. And you aren't asking where those scientists actually went. It's all a distraction. But the real question isn't what the Pentagon is putting in these movies. The question is, what did the U.S. military excavate from Iraq desert in 2003 that forced them to start the 79-year countdown clock in the first place? We are going deep into the Sumerian tomb excavations next week. And trust me, that file is one they tried to delete entirely. So hit that subscribe button, turn on notifications, and don't let them keep you distracted. I'll see you on the next drop. I love you guys. Stay safe and don't drink that.